the camera's in a good place. Yeah, the camera's here.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for bearing with us. I think we're starting a little bit late. I'm DC Kashyap. I am the, what is my title? The workshops chair on the board of directors here at the Kansas City Clay Guild. This is Maggie Pircher. Did I say your name, your last name right? Okay, Maggie Pircher. She's going to be walking us through her process of making and using screen prints, silk screen prints, to decorate ceramic surfaces. So Maggie, really quickly, what are your socials? And later we'll put those down so you can follow them.
I have Muddy Maggie Pottery on Instagram. There's some underscores in between there, so you can find me there and follow me if you want. And otherwise, that's pretty much where I post all of my work when I have time to post.
Cool. Yeah, so if you have any questions, go ahead and write in. You can leave comments even after the fact, and we'll try to monitor it, and we can get questions over to Maggie. But otherwise, let's just get started. So take it away.
I wanted to spend a few minutes to introduce myself. My name's Maggie. I've been doing pottery for a couple of years, and I always get into another rabbit hole where I investigate and try new things. And silkscreen has been sticking with me the longest, and I can use it in many different ways. So I'll just get into how I initially started using silk screens. I used a company that I found on Instagram called Easy Screen, and they are pretty simple. They send you a package that has screens that are preloaded with emulsion. They're blue. They used to be. I think they still are blue. And then you can buy a kit that comes with instructions, but you can buy a kit for burning your screens just with regular sunlight in the middle of the day.
So it's like a photographic process sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really simple, actually. You load it into one of these. You can use a regular picture frame with a piece of glass on top of it. Or like I used this, and it was very, very simple. I'll load this just like I would if I were burning it, but I don't have the sun, so I can't really do it.
So you do need a powerful light, like the sun. Like it's
yeah,
not, you can't just put
it only takes 1 minute with their screens.
Wow, okay.
But there are different companies that have different processes.
And what are the various pieces you're putting under
so
here now?
It would have, this is the screen. It would come all blue. It wouldn't, I've already burned this one. So they are light sensitive. So do it in dim light or yellow light. But I just went in my bathroom with the lights off and lined up everything like this.
So that's just a
this is
print off,
yep,
like on
I
your
used
computer?
my regular printer and printed a black and white of what I was going to, the image that I wanted to burn. So you can make your own. This one I made, it was just a bunch of circles on a screen. And then wherever it is clear is the part of the screen that will stay. It will get exposed to the light, and it will burn that image onto the emulsion.
So it's a negative, essentially.
Yeah.
You're printing a negative on your computer and then making the positive.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I kind of remember it as where the black is on the screen is where the ink is going to be on my emulsion. So if you put it like that, you do that, you put it in the sun for 1 minute, and then you rinse it out. They give you a neat little thing to put in your sink and a brush. At least they used to. Yeah, I just rinsed with water and let it dry fully, and then you have a fully functional screen. I will use that later so I can show you. It still works great. I made it a 1.5 years ago or something. And I'm going to set this aside. So let me move those. I wanted to, before I make some with that screen, I wanted to show you, you can also make screens with regular silk from, I got this off of Amazon. It's just a box of like
It's just called like
2
screen
square
printing
yards.
silk.
Yep, it's
Okay.
screen printing silk, and I got the 110 mesh, so it comes just like this, and you can cut pieces off.
Are there do different meshes make a difference?
It depends on how detailed you want it. I think most of them are around that mesh,
Okay.
that fine amount of mesh, but I think you can get more coarse and more fine. I just got the 110 because that was probably the first one
And
or
it's
the
just kind of
cheapest one.
the finer it is, the more detail sort
Yep.
of thing. Okay.
Yep. So I always pre-iron my screen. So this has been ironed once, and the reason that I do that is because I use heat transfer vinyl, and the heat from the iron causes this to shrink a little bit. So it will shrink as you use it. I use my Cricut machine. You can use any vinyl cutting machine at home. Some people use permanent vinyl and don't iron it on. It's called permanent vinyl, but you can actually peel that off of your screen after you're done with it and reuse your screen for something else.
I have used that myself, not for pottery, for t-shirts, and the problem with doing that is that it does get a little squishy at the edges. So the iron-on is probably a better way to go.
So I use the iron-on. I just cut it with my vinyl cutter at home. And then this is one that I've already ironed. I will iron one in a minute. I'm letting my iron heat up. This is one that I've already ironed on, and this is one that I have cut out and weeded, but haven't finished yet. So I wonder how quick that's going to heat up. Hopefully it'll heat up pretty quick. I use a towel. With the heat transfer vinyl, it sticks much better when you put a lot of pressure on it. So at home, my ironing board is too soft. I have had things separate, so I like a hard surface is good. A board of any type, as long as it's safe for some heat. Usually, when you buy heat transfer vinyl, it comes with one of these or something like it. This is a grill mat from my grill. And
smart.
I use it as well. So you can use it on top and bottom, but I usually just use that. This you can see through a little better. So I'll probably.
And what is the top piece? Just a piece of fabric of some sort?
It's some kind of a heat resistant.
Okay.
Like, I don't even know. It's just heat resistant material. Okay. Yeah. It's not
some
Kevlar.
Sort of press cloth.
Yeah.
Something. All right. Cool.
It's lightly textured,
that, so,
but it works good. So I've used it before. But if you don't have one of those, a grill mat from the regular store will work fine. Make sure that you're clean in between there. The side that you put down, you're gonna put your silk down, and then you'll put the shiny side goes up. The part that's opposite shiny goes onto the surface.
So this is just, if you're familiar with Cricut or the vinyl cutters, this is just the transfer plastic that you put on top.
Yep. It comes on it. It cuts.
Oh,
so your machine will cut it opposite. It will mirror it.
So you don't have to do that. It just comes like
right. But you also got to do a little bit of thinking ahead. If you're doing words, you actually don't want it mirrored, because when you put it down, you're going to put it screen side down when you print.
Okay.
So think ahead a little bit on your design. Sketch it out if you need to. These are snowflakes, so you really don't need. Yeah.
But so when you do this, the part facing downwards, so you're going to put the ink on top of the cloth, not on top of the Transfer.
Yes.
So you want the words to be just how you would read them.
Right.
Okay.
And the reason that I do that we do it that way, you can flip it over and do the ink on the vinyl side.
Mhm.
But the space, even though it's very thin, the space that
Yeah.
the vinyl leaves gives you a little more ink saturation on whatever you're printing on.
Okay.
So I'll get to the pottery part of this
Yes. Yeah.
when I do some examples. So you do that, and then I can do it without causing a big mess. And then you just press. Like, I just press, and then I'll move this over and get to the part where I'm not touching, or where I'm touching right now.
And you are really putting pressure
Yeah,
on
I'm
it.
putting lots of pressure on it, and I'm just moving it over slowly, trying to keep even pressure on the whole thing.
I know it's just another piece of equipment, but have you ever tried like a t-shirt press?
So you could absolutely use a t-shirt press, but I haven't bought one because they aren't free.
No, they're not.
So
And they take up a lot of room.
They do, and I mean, this works fine for me so far. I haven't come across a situation that this hasn't worked. Although I imagine there are, but I don't make t-shirts and stuff. I just use this for making silk screens. And like I said, I had pre-ironed this to get the pre-shrinking in, because that silk screen will shrink a little bit.
And I assume it'll just get wrinkly if you let it shrink with the.
Yeah. It doesn't fit as well.
Yeah.
So that is why I pre-shrink mine. I did that the first time I made one, I didn't pre-shrink it.
Okay.
And it did not work. Okay. I had to recut new vinyl and try again.
And there's no washing you have to do. It's just keep shrinking with the iron.
I just run the iron over it on the setting that I would normally use.
Okay.
So, and it has worked for me so far. So after I do that, I'm going to test it by just peeling while it's still hot, and it seems to be separating fine. You can always just lay it back down and do it again if you get a spot that isn't peeling well. So you peel that. I always leave, also, just FYI, I always leave some extra room around my vinyl, so that it will, you have more room to make a mess with your ink, if you will. It's not really messy, but you do need some extra space to spread your ink around. So there you go. There's one.
That's awesome.
Super simple.
Can I feel it?
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, it's supple.
Pretty durable. They wash. I put them in the sink and I wash them like that. In fact, when I do some examples, I'll show you how I do it with just a sponge. It'll work fine with just a sponge. Okay, so
are you using a particular vinyl product? Like, is there a certain type that you like? I know they make different.
Just got a cheap version on Amazon that a couple of Facebook group people had recommended.
Okay.
And that's the one that I grabbed to begin with.
Okay.
It hasn't given me any trouble. I haven't gone out and bought different colors.
Yeah.
Because I pretty much use.
It's really nice
for these.
If you were able to feel this. It's very
it
flexible
feels stretchy,
and supple, and,
but also sturdy.
Yes, very
it's,
much.
It's definitely a different feel than this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That is more rigid than this is, I feel like. But that can be a good thing, and we'll get to why that can be a good thing in just a little bit. Okay, so now we kind of know a couple different ways of making silk screens. I will get my jelly plate out.
All right.
And this is the fun part.
I'm excited to see this. I've never seen those. I mean, I've seen people do them. I've never seen it in person.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So I always leave my jelly plate in the case.
And where
But
did you buy this? Just Amazon?
I got my jelly plate from Amazon.
Okay.
You can get it wherever. I got a big one and chopped it up because they're not real cheap.
Yeah.
You can make your own. There's tons of resources on YouTube to find out to make your own jelly plates. You need like gelatin and glycerin, I think. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But this has been, I've had it the whole time. Like it was the first thing that I bought and it's held up really well.
Nice.
So I'm just keeping on using this. So you can, this is newsprint. I know it's really ugly. This is just newspaper print. It got wet somewhere, so it has funny colors on it, but that won't affect anything. I use this and I stick it down to my jelly plate. So when your jelly plate is clean, it's gonna have this almost tacky feel to it.
Do you just clean the jelly plate with
water? I just clean it with water. It's never really a problem for me. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit about the ink. Now, there's a popular brand name of underglaze company that's coming out with actual silkscreen inks.
Wow.
I was hoping they would come out with it before today so I could buy some.
Who is it?
I think it's Speedball.
Wow.
I think is it Amico?
Speedball, I think, is separate from Amico.
So
but Speedball makes underglaze and they make inks for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
if they made
whoever makes I think it's Amico.
Okay.
It might be Mako. No, I think it's Amico.
Okay.
So they're coming out with I don't want to be wrong, but it's fine. They're coming out. Yeah, Google it. It's not out yet. Okay. So I've been itching to get my hands on some.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to yet.
So what are you using?
So this is super cheapo, Saks brand True Flow. I get one and I open it up and I set it out and I forget about it for 2 weeks.
Wow.
I mean, I can't say I forget about it entirely. I set it out and I let it dehydrate, and every few days maybe I come and stir it up a little bit. I evaporate the water out of it. The reason for that is because when I use it on something, water is going to make your paper shrink or expand. So it's going to cause wrinkling. And the less water that's in it, the less it's going to do that. So a lot of people use something like CMC gum, which is a bakery product.
Yeah.
This one is. You can also get silkscreen medium.
Okay.
I don't use those because it causes the underglazes. You still have the water in there. It's still going to make your paper wrinkle. And
so these gums will thicken it to the point quicker than if you had to sit and let it evaporate for 2 weeks, but you still have the remaining moisture. So
yeah. So it doesn't hurt. If you're in a hurry, it works fine.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for the brushability that the CMC would add to, say, a mixed glaze so that I could brush it on big pots. I'm just thickening this up so that it's more like this than like, here, let me get another one of these. This is one that has not been dehydrated. This is how it comes new. So that is very much a paste.
Yeah.
And that helps with, you can do this with any color. It is. It's a great texture.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really great texture. You can use any color. I have blue and I have black here. So this is my favorite rib of all time. The yellow Mud Tools. Everybody go support Mud Tools because they kind of got demolished. And support the Clay Guild. Yeah, their whole, oh my gosh.
Oh, are they from the hurricane?
Yeah.
Oh, support Mud Tools.
Support Mud Tools. This is my favorite rib. It works great. You can use a credit card. You can use something like this that comes with it, but I like this because it's just right for me. And you can dehydrate any color of underglaze and make it work.
Do you have any brands that you prefer? Is this just like cost wise you like it? Or
so I don't want to give out any secrets, but I ordered this off of Amazon and it came in an Amico box or Mako box.
Oh, interesting.
It came in a branded box. It was not. This is a brand that teachers use.
Okay.
So it's affordable.
Okay. Have you tried any of the Mako?
I have, and they are very comparable.
Okay.
You can even use, if you want, you can get like stroke and coats and dehydrate those.
Okay.
If you want your silk screens to be shinier.
Okay. Nice.
So keep that in mind. When I'm just going to do this side with this, and then I'll do some with these, or maybe one of those other ones. I'll probably do a blue cloud. That's what I'll do. I'll do a blue cloud. So that's one that I made a while back. I have some smaller clouds too, but you can do any sizes. I have lots of different sizes. So yeah, so on newsprint, you can take and you just, let's see, I'll do the.
So the gel plate, is that just there for support right now?
It acts sticky, like it's a little sticky,
so it holds the paper in place.
It works great for that. You can make whole entire sheets. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole sheet. I'll do this section, like the whole paper size section. But I won't do this whole sheet as the bubbles.
Okay.
So you just hold it in one spot and then I loaded up my rib, which is my squeegee, and I just go for it.
It really does look just like screen printing ink going across. That's crazy.
It really, really does. If I hold it well, then I can go back over it and pick up any ink, if you will, that doesn't go back over pieces that I've missed. Or
now you could tape this if you wanted to.
You could, and you can do multicolors.
Okay.
Like if you had a design that you were wanting to do that is a 3-color, you can do 3-color, and you would need to like set up a jig where you have this line and this line, and then anchor your silk screen, so that it doesn't move around on you, and then you just line up each one afterwards to make sure that it lines up properly. So I'm just gonna go over this a little more, and then oops, see, I'm making messes. It's a little messy, but it's not. I mean, there's processes that are way messier. So you kind of saw how much I had loaded up before, and I added a little more, and then I used it, and so it is like underglaze usage heavy. And then I just peel this up.
Oh, wow.
And that is that.
Put that in the sink?
Yeah, or set it anywhere because it'll wash out. So that works out. Where did my scissors go? I knew I had them. Oh, they're under here.
The paper's hiding them.
Yes. So you can probably smudged it, but you can, if you're gonna do multiple sheets, then just make sure that you have all of your stuff ready so that you can do a sheet, move that sheet, and put another one and do a sheet. If it dries, you're gonna want to wash it off and then do it again, like dry it and do it later. If it dries in the screen, so it'll come out because it's underglaze. Until it gets fired, it'll come out. So there's that one. That's with the photo emulsion screen. And then let's see, I have this here. I'm just gonna wipe that up a little bit. Stay there. And because I'm not real picky about my own glazes, don't do this to other people's glazes.
Hey, use all you can, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just don't mix colors in other people's glazes.
Fair enough.
So this one this is the side that I ironed, and this is, yeah, and this is the silk side. So I'm going to put the side that I ironed down. I could do it this way. You'll get more color if you do it the vinyl side down.
It was kind of hard to tell, but the way that I was able to figure out, I think I saw you doing it, is picking
Yeah.
right at that corner,
Mm-hmm.
and the side where you feel that catch is the side that goes down.
Yep. You have the vinyl, even though it's thin,
Yeah.
it does have a thickness to it.
Yeah, it is very thin.
Yeah.
So you do have to pick to feel it. But
so, and this one I didn't evaporate quite as much as I did the black color. So it's a little bit thinner, but it'll still work. It'll work just fine. So same kind of deal. You just hold it, and it's really satisfying on these white screens too. You can see stuff really well on it, so I do like that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do another print a little bit over. So I'm going to peel this up. It takes some practice to get, see, and I should have evaporated this a little more because it looks a little bleedy because I didn't evaporate it quite
still
as
looks
well.
good, but there is a difference between the sharpness on that and the black.
Yep.
So.
I'll do a different screen. It's the same concept, but I'll do another screen with some black ones so that you guys can see. But I'll do just 2.
So you're just going right and you don't even have to wash it. That's great.
If you're doing multiple like prints, just have all your stuff lined up and it'll work fine.
That's awesome.
So there, and peel this up. Seeing my paper being wrinkly from previously being wet is a problem for me. Just go over there. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so I'm going to move this to dry over here. That one's probably already pretty close to dry.
Yeah, it's here. I'm going to hold that up for the camera real quick.
Sorry. Yeah. We'll do some mushrooms. And then here's a piece.
Now, do you always do this directly onto paper, or do you ever do it onto the jelly?
Am I getting ahead of myself? You are. You're getting ahead.
Sorry. I'll just shut up.
So there's different methods that none of them are wrong. They're all, you can do it however you want. So along with thinking about you're transferring your lettering, you can do multiple different ways of applying your silkscreen to your clay. A friend of mine is getting married soon, and I made her some silk screens for her little logo because she also is a potter, and she's making some little cups for everyone. So she's going to be printing those ahead of time so that she can just apply them all. She's not using newsprint though. We'll use a different stuff in a little bit. So you can use them, you know, the big companies like Sanbao. I think it's Sanbao.
Yeah, where you can
go buy those from them.
Like if you're local and you go up to Bracker, they have a whole wall of underglaze transfers.
And I have a few. I brought some to show you.
Oh, cool.
They have a variety of underglaze transfers. And a lot of theirs are way more detailed than what I've ever tried.
Okay. But that's essentially what you're making when you put it on newsprint.
Yeah, that's what I'm making. So you can make custom ones. Where'd my rib go? Where'd my rib go? It's my favorite rib. So same kind of deal as all of the others. Just make sure that I'm on the paper. And yep, that's my vinyl side is down. Whoops, see, and I fudged that one because I tried to pick it up.
We'll just cut that part off. It's fine.
It'll be fine. Oh, see? I got too far ahead of myself.
It worked.
It worked. It'll be fine.
Yep.
So this one's not as beautiful, but here, let me get. So you can do it with these, and then I'm gonna get something real quick to show you, something else to show you.
Okay.
So this is tissue paper. It's just packaged gift bag paper, regular old tissue paper. If you print on the shiny side, it sure does act a whole lot like those commercial underglaze transfer things. So there's that one. I got it all goofed up, but I'm going to set that one over here.
Are you going to use this again? Or?
No, I'm going to get a smaller one because they're just easier to manage
Sure.
when I get a smaller one. So I have a bunch of smaller ones. Let's see. I really like this guy. He's a snail with a skull for a shell. I got, these are free coloring pages, so PDFs.
Nice.
That I grabbed and turned into vector art on there. So,
oh, and with the tissue paper, you can really see how the gel is.
You can see through it really well. So I'm just going to do essentially the same thing. You can see, and I make myself messy.
If my hands were in it, I would be way messier than you.
We all get messy when we're messing with clay.
Yeah.
So there's one.
Nice.
And two.
Very cool. Oh my God, he's so cute.
Isn't he cute?
Yeah.
And oh, I'm running out of jelly plate. Three.
Love it.
So you have all of these little. Now there's 3 transfers that you can put on anything, anytime you want. Keep them in a cool, dry place. And here. Yes, thank you. And you can use them later. So let's see. Tissue paper. Let me make a couple of different tissue paper transfers because we'll use them later.
Oh, and you can really see now. I'm going to bring this up close to the camera, see if this helps.
Yeah.
When the black is drying, oh, it's not showing me over there. You can see how it's graying out there. So that way, you know when it's getting ready.
Mm-hmm. So there's that, and I'll do, oops. Let's see. I have a whole variety of bugs.
Bugs are
so
good.
We'll do a bunch of bugs because we'll use them later. There's another snail.
And that is one thing that's great. Anyone who is a Cricut user or has access to one, I know that they even have them at a lot of the public libraries.
Maker
spaces. So you can use them. And it is so easy to find free files online that you just vectorize. And it's, if you don't know the word, just Google it. It'll tell you how to do it. And it's literally clicking a button and kind of changing the file. It's really easy.
Yeah.
And that way you can find kind of any free images on the internet. Make sure they're free, not copyrighted, but any free image on the internet you can make these images from. So.
And I use the bugs and the mushrooms, and I have a bunch of potion bottles that are super cute. And I got some ghosts. Those are all from free coloring pages.
Nice.
So that's where I get a lot of these, because the images, because they're
has
free.
The outline already.
Yeah, they're already black and white outlines.
Yeah.
So I'll do. Should have used the thin side on this one.
Beautiful.
I'm going to put this one in the water bucket that I have over here because I'm going to wipe it off and use it later. And they make, when you are on a roll, I'll say, make some really nice prints.
Yeah.
So I always get myself on a roll and then disrupt myself somehow. So,
And then one thing I want to point out, when you see that, you can see how it got some stuff on the edges. Just like with the commercial underglaze transfers, before you put that against your piece, it just cut it off. It's, yeah, that's.
You can also, and at home, the ones that I am using frequently, I will tape all around the edge, just with some blue painter's tape.
Yeah.
Just tape around the edge so that it stays within the confines of the place that you want it to. But these are really nice.
But that's something that I was just going over with some people in a class that I'm taking, actually, because I've been playing a little bit with those underglaze transfers, and people were like, well, how do I make sure I'm not getting the stuff I don't want? I'm like, cut it before you put it on. Like, make sure it's not there to transfer. And you're good.
So let's see what else is on my list. I have.
Seems like an easy thing to know, but sometimes when you've never done it,
you can't tell until you need to.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna get this back out. I have a jar of stick to anything white slip that I mixed up myself. You can find recipes on Glazy. You can make your own slip if you have a white clay body.
Okay.
And this is just one way of using it. This is the way that works best for the newsprint that I have noticed. Actually, let me do this first. I have these guys here, and this is just a little leather hard disc. Actually, let me do this one. I'll turn that off, and I'll get one that hasn't been anything done with. So
what is your preferred hardness, dryness, I should say, of clay when you transfer?
I'm not picky.
You're not? Okay.
I'm not picky.
Okay.
I will do whatever works.
Okay.
So, like, I'm going to do. Because it adds its own character.
Right.
So, because my style I'm not going to be picky on how everything is. It's not all precise. That's not how I function best. So there's nothing wrong with that way, but that's just not how I typically do it. So I'm kind of loose and improvise. It'll work out.
Yeah.
There's no perfect vision for me. So my stick to anything white slip, I am going to take it and I'm going to slather it on here, right? So now my black and white image is really going to be black and white because there's a white base of slip on this. And this is just the Clay Guilds Recycle, the Cone 10 clay. Oh, see, now I'm smearing it, so I'm going to stop.
And is that something that you can put the slip on and let it dry and still use it later, or do you need to do that right before?
I would do it when you're ready to put it together.
Okay.
So you can see that the paper is wet.
Yep.
I'll get a little sponge and get this part a little bit wetter.
Do you need more?
I got some water right here. I'm just going to get my hand wet and
I can get a small sponge. No?
So let me get my other rib. I have another rib over here somewhere.
You can wash that off.
There it is. This is my green rib. I got my green rib. It's another mud tools.
Nice. We love mud tools.
These are my favorite.
Yeah.
And I'm just like sealing it, and I'm smearing it because I'm, of course, doing it under pressure.
Yeah.
And then you can let it sit or you can peel it off. It's not going to be, I don't know how this one's going to be. Yeah. Okay, it'll peel off then. So I'm peeling the newsprint off and everything that I silk screened. And like I said, it's loose, it's rough, this is an imperfection kind of deal. And I had too much slip over here, so I smeared it when I pushed.
Now, if you let it dry between, will it be a little crisper, sharper?
It can,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's still a really cool look, though.
That's
really fun.
That's yeah, and that's part of,
figuring out what you
testing your methods.
Mhm.
How do you like to make it? What do you want it to look like?
Yeah.
So I'm going to let this surface set up a little bit, and in
that
just
up.
a little while,
It's really cool.
I brought a form, and I'll just make the piece. You can even leave that attached to it.
Okay.
To make the piece.
Okay.
So there's that one, and I'm gonna do one of these. Well, let me wipe up my mess first. So next, what I'm gonna do is get a plain piece of leather hard clay, and this can be a mug or really can be anything. It doesn't have to be a blank. It can just be like, you can do this on a leather hard piece of clay. I just brought a couple of slabs, so it's not anything fancy, but you can do it on any surface. So I'm gonna get my cutesy little bug here. Cut off my mess. There we go. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just where's that? Plain old slab, right? Put your thing on there, and then I should have gotten a squirt bottle. Oh, this will work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you just get it damp. I'm going to leave this one on as I form it. So my tissue paper is saturated now, and grab a foam block. And the tissue paper is in between the tissue paper will be in between the
press mold.
Yeah, press mold and the transfer and your clay slab. So you just put that down, and we'll see. I'm not good at hand building, so this is probably not going to be perfect. I usually throw and put these on a mug.
I love this though. It's getting that cool.
Yeah, it has
texture.
a little ripply edge.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that like that. I'll just leave it because you guys know how to do that, or you don't, and you can try it.
If you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah. So it stayed there. You could do it on a harder leather hard surface or softer leather hard surface, and it would mold easier.
Yeah.
These are pretty thin slabs that I just rolled real quick earlier today, so they dried kind of fast.
Yeah.
But you can see that it peels right off.
So nice.
And that is as close to a regular underglaze transfer.
That's maybe a little bit better.
As you can put your name, you can put initials. So, and then you're done with that. So there's one. You can do the same thing. Let's see if this isn't too dry. Probably made it too dry, so we'll just we'll leave it flat. I put it out, and then I put a fan on it, so it's going to be too dry, but I'm going to dampen it a little. So you can do the same deal on this is a piece that I put stick to anything white slip on. And then, yeah, it's just got stick to anything white slip. So it's stoneware with slip on top of it. And then I'm going to put the transfer on that. A little sponge and some water. And you can, like she said earlier, you can either let it dry entirely. I've heard a lot of people say that if you're doing transfers, they stick better if you let them completely dry until it goes to greenware, till it's totally dry.
Yeah.
But I tend to just peel it off after after I think it's stuck.
Have you ever fired with the paper still on?
I haven't, but I don't see why it would be a problem.
Yeah. I was curious about that the other day. I've never done it, and
yeah, I haven't either.
If anybody's watching and has any feedback, type it in. Let us all know.
Yeah, we'll leave that one to dry entirely, so the paper is entirely dry before I peel it off, and then I'll do another one that isn't entirely, that I won't let dry entirely.
And that's also coated with the white slip?
Yeah, that's also with white slip. Actually, here, let me grab this one. This one has some lovely white underglaze on it. This is just this cheap brand of white underglaze, and same concept. You can treat it pretty much exactly the same. What do I want to do? I'm going to do a snail. A lovely snail. Yeah. I'll hand you that. Oh, I gotta get that piece off. See, I just cut off a little extra piece of some ink bleed that I had, that I just make sure you get that off and it'll be fine. So you can apply it like that. And so I was pretty rough when I added my brush strokes of the white underglaze. So when this is done, when this is peeled off, when it's fired after that, you'll very likely be able to see through the white because it'll be transparent. And you'll be able to see the stoneware underneath. So it'll give it some good dimension. You could even paint with your underglazes and then add silk screens on top of it. So if you wanted to make a tie-dye effect with underglazes and then put silk screens on top, you can do that.
I recently did some Halloween commercial underglazes and did like a purple and orange ombre underneath. And
that's cool.
It turned out
exactly.
nicely.
You can do all kinds of neat stuff. So I'm going to peel this guy off. So sometimes you'll get little bits that stick to the paper more. That just has to do with how wet you got it, I think. I found that smearing it with these doesn't always do a good job of transferring the ink. A lot of times if your ink, your underglaze underneath, it can rub it and it can move it. So I prefer to just kind of dab it. But if you
pretty good transfer.
Yeah. So you can see a little bit. I don't know if they can see, but
honestly, on the piece, it doesn't look.
Yeah, on the piece right around his, what is that? His left eyeball, his right eyeball. You can see that there's some like skipping of where the ink stuck to the paper instead of staying on the piece. But I think that adds to the effect. So it doesn't have to be perfect. And
for most people, that's a part of transfers, commercial or otherwise. You just get some stuff that won't come off. So
exactly.
Yeah.
It just happens that way. So Here, this is probably good to do that with now. I brought my little block. I've actually never used this.
Oh, okay.
I got it from a good friend of mine.
Nice.
But yeah, you can think. I need to go over this way a little.
Beautiful.
And if you had left the newsprint on this one, it
Just
would
to give that barrier.
Yeah, it
That's
would.
kinda cool
You wouldn't
how
get
it
any
did the
transfer.
I like
so.
that.
I think it's neat. And then this will just wipe off.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives you something to play with. Okay, so let's see. Let me see what I've covered so far. Tissue papers. Oh, now we get to do the jelly plate.
Yay! This is what I've been looking forward to the most. Is this trash?
Yes. The jelly plate. Here, I'll let you have that. I should have brought a trash can.
It's okay. There's one right over here.
The jelly plate can do a whole lot of really neat stuff. I like it for so many different things because you can do all kinds of stuff with it. I say stuff very, I guess everything's stuff. So I have a mug here, right? I can, if you have I didn't bring any like vertical leather hard pieces, but you can take the jelly plate. Here, I'll do one of these and one of these. I'm going to use my little guy. Okay. And this is just cornstarch.
Oh.
I put it on here because the jelly plate will cause moisture to bead up. So I put the cornstarch on here, and I just rub it on, so it's
just
very
a piece of cotton or something.
It's a like a pantyhose kind of deal.
Okay.
So I just put it on there, so it's not caked. You're not dusting it off. It's just a very thin layer, so that it's not sticky anymore. Yeah. And I'm going to use one that I've already used because I'm breaking my own rules. And you can just go straight onto the jelly plate. See if my previously used dirty screen matters. It does. It kind of does.
As it dried, it looks like it got some stuff dried, so it wasn't going through. The wet stuff wasn't going through.
It clogged up my.
It's just a different effect,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Here where's this guy? We'll get this guy. Where's my towel? So we'll dry it back off. That's all you do in between. You just wipe it off and dry it, and then rub your cornstarch, your bag of cornstarch. It doesn't have to be a bag. You can just sprinkle a little on there and wipe it off.
Just so you don't have chunks on there.
Yeah. So I'm going to put this here so that it's ready. And then there. Pretty sure I ironed a dog hair into that one.
Again, it's character.
Yeah. I don't even think you'll know that. I don't even think you'll be able to see.
You what?
I don't think you'll be able to see
Oh, yeah.
A little hair. So do that. Peel that up.
Oh, nice.
And I can wipe that off and reuse it right away. That's it on the jelly plate.
Is it just after you let it dry a little bit is when it?
I don't even let it dry. Like I just go straight to it.
No, that's what I mean. If you use it right away, it's fine. If you
use it right away, it's fine.
Yeah.
If you let it dry, it kind of does what the other one did. It clogs up the pores of the silk screen.
Yeah.
So the screen holes.
Right.
So I just pressed this on there. I flipped it over. I pressed it onto my thing.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
That's my empty jelly plate now.
Wow.
And this is what that looks like.
That's about the cleanest print I think you can ask for on ceramic. That's incredible.
Yeah, it turns out really well. I'll do one. This is another piece of underglaze. another one that has underglaze on it. It's just a leather hard. It's a hard leather hard with underglaze. I'm going to move this back here. Wipe this off a little. Dry it. And then redo this. Just for example purposes, I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to wipe it off too. And see, I'm going to make a mess. This is where I'm going to make a mess. And I'll dry it. It doesn't have to be perfect. So this is the one that I just used. I'm going to use it again. This is why I have different sizes, because a little one's easy to maneuver. If you have a cup that you're trying to wrap it around, this is easier to maneuver than a giant piece. Some people do sorry, lost my train of thought. Some people roll it, so they like the larger plate because they can roll their mug along the plate, and that works fine. But if you have something small like this that is being transferred to something else that is small, just makes more sense to do smaller jelly plates. And then just press it down. Just a little pressure to make sure everything makes contact. Peel it up. And there it is. So there's that one too. Let's see. Oh, let's do a big one. I'm going to wipe that off and dry it so that I don't forget. Okay. So let me grab a bigger one that is people appropriate. More clouds. Okay. This is my mug. This will fit around most of this mug. So let's see. What do I want to do? This one will do, that'll work just fine. Oops. So I can set this here. Sorry. Put this where I want it. This screen isn't wide enough, or it's too wide for this whole thing. Hang on, let me see if I have another one. It's a little narrower.
Do ghosties. It's appropriate.
I should do ghosties.
Yeah.
It's almost Halloween.
Yeah.
Let's see. Which one?
I like this guy.
I like this guy too. I haven't actually used this one yet.
Okay.
I made it and I was like, ooh, ghosts.
The Virgin Voyage.
Yes. So I usually drag my thing towards me. So that's why I have this one positioned like this. Some people drag across and that's fine. You can make your workspace as comfortable as you can for you. All of them won't fit, but that's okay because they just won't all fit around one mug. Yeah. So that's on there. I'm going to hold it in place and just do this. Oh, I didn't add my cornstarch. It might beat up on me.
Uh-oh. It's okay. They're just vaporizing like ghosts.
Right?
Do. Yeah.
I'll let you hold that. It's great having a helper.
Good.
I'm going to clean up my edge because I did bleed over because I don't have that screen taped. It's handy to tape your screen. So this actually looks pretty good. I don't think I'm going to have any trouble with it beating up. Maybe I had some leftover residual cornstarch on it. Let me clean up this little ghost down here.
Half ghost.
Yeah.
There's a little, you probably can't see it on camera, but same thing for when you get the pre-printed transfers. Sometimes the cutoff gives you half of an image. If you don't want to have a half of an image on your piece, just cut it off, wipe it off.
Yep, on these, just wipe it off. On the commercial ones, you can just cut it off. So here's my mug. Here's my piece. I tend to hold on to my handle, and you got to commit when you do it, right? It's like, okay, am I going to do it? Am I going to do it? Yes, I'm going to do it. And then you press it, and then you don't wiggle it around. Okay. I should have stretched it a little more, but so that it was less leaning.
It's
okay. That makes sense, because it's angled.
Well, and that's the great thing about these jellies rather than the paper. The paper, if you've ever worked with a long piece of paper trying to transfer it onto a curved piece like this, it folds, it creases, it gives you some kind of weird little blips. This looks like it's just doing a really good job conforming. Do you need a second pair of hands
molds.
to push? Or?
No, I think it's okay. I usually have a little piece of foam that I'm laying stuff on to work so that I don't. If this were a leather hard piece, I would be a lot more gentle. But I'm working with a bisque piece right now. The same concept applies to a leather hard piece. So, and then
oh my god,
peel it off. So I missed a little bit of this guy's tail here. I can actually probably make it work.
Another thing that you can do when you've got these line drawings like that and it's a black underglaze is it's super easy to go in with a fine brush and just clean little things. I'm going to bring this up to the camera because it's so cute. That's a beautiful weight on your mug too. Maggie's very good at throwing, you guys.
I like mugs. I like mugs.
That's so cute. And with the orange, do you know if this ends up orange?
So this is a chocolate color.
Okay.
This is, it's from Bracker's. It's Kansas Clay brand. It is it's the Red Brick Road, but it's actually a very chocolate color. It's not red. Bisque's red, but it's quite brown and warm. And it's so you can, after you do this, of course, you can glaze it with other glazes. You can go over your edges, your lines where your ghosts are with a wax or a liquid latex or whatever. You can also, I brought these guys so that I can show you. This is super fun. These are just, they're watercolors. This is the cheap one. Amico also makes semi-moist underglazes. I'm going to grab my water and bring it right here. I did a bunch of, you can look back in my Instagram. I did a bunch of underglazes, underglaze painting on some ghosts, some of these other ghosts that I have over there. And they turned out so cute.
Nice.
The potions that I have, you can underglaze inside of this.
Yeah.
And it turns out so adorable.
So fun.
I tested all of my underglaze, the smugs, on regular clay and on you can see this is a blue, and I'm just doing a wash, and you can make it look like a watercolor, so you can paint all of your stuff around it. I need more water for watercolor.
And if you do this, like if you put the black outline on greenware, fire it, then you can bisque, when it's bisqued ware, you can do the watercolor effect without interfering with the line.
Smudging.
Yeah.
As it is now, I have to be very careful not to spend too much time dwelling on the line.
Yeah.
Right.
You're making it work. So,
yeah. So I just don't want to rub too hard or too long on the black lines that came from the silk screen from the jelly plate. So you can paint them different colors. If you're doing flowers, you can do it. And if you do it on, yes, if you do it on greenware, then you can um, uh, paint them with less care.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
so you don't have to spend quite as much effort making sure that you don't mess it up.
It ends up being like a coloring book. Those lines aren't going to move while you're coloring over it. So
yeah. And one of my favorite things to do, actually, if you have a very solid, stable white, I haven't tried any commercial ones. I have mixed up my own white.
Underglaze or
white glaze.
glaze? Okay.
So this is my favorite one. This is white liner, and I'm almost out of it, and it's
Okay.
actually really dry right now.
Okay.
So I'm not going to use it. This one is okay. This one also. This is a mix of a studio. It's on Glazy.
Okay.
Studio white. The Glazy number is 7973, and Cone 6 Myolica. I think I said that right. That number on Glazy is 488781. I did 2 recipes, tested them both, hated them on their own, mixed it together, and then I love this one. So take it for what you will. It's about half and half.
Never waste your glazes if you don't like them. Figure something out.
It works. So I want to show you this. Did I bring another brush?
I can grab a brush if you need.
I got it. There, I'll just use one of
Okay.
these. One of these is fine.
You might want one from over here because those ones get wax on them.
That's real dusty.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Let's see. Something like that?
Yes, that'll work fine. We're not picky. I'm not picky. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so this is just a regular brush, regular glaze. I did add a little bit of CMC gum to this to thicken it up, to make it more brushable so it doesn't dry instantly because it's originally mixed as a dipping glaze. So you can do this. I'm just going to do it as an example because I might wash this off. I might not like it. I might love it and fire it. So I'm going to do that. I'll do some on the other side too. I'm not going to put a real thick layer on because I really like this brown clay and I want it to show through a little bit. And it kind of just adds to its character.
Is that clay a cone 6 or 10?
This is a cone 6. It's actually a cone 5, but I fire it to cone 6.
Okay. You don't fire here?
I have a kiln in my garage.
That's awesome.
I have fired here. I do my cone 10 stuff here because I don't have a cone 10 kiln.
Yeah. I always say cone 6 for firings for our mid fire here. It's not cone 6, it's cone 5.
It's cone 5. Yeah. And I have like I said, I have a kiln in my garage.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful gift from a good friend.
That's wonderful. That is a good friend.
Yeah. He was cleaning out his garage, and his his wife was angry.
All right.
She said, "No, you can't give her my wheel too." So I had to buy my own wheel, which is fine.
Yes.
So she was kind of like me, though. She collects hobbies.
Yeah.
I collect hobbies. So
I know nothing about that.
So I'm just going to leave that like that for a second while it's drying. It should dry pretty quick. I'm going to leave that there. Let's see. What else did I do? I did the wrap on a mug. I did on a leather hard. Let me do inside. You're pretty. Should I do this? We'll do white. This is one that I've had sitting on my shelf. It's a cone 8, and my kiln will technically go up to 8, but I don't do it very often.
Mess your elements.
Yeah. So, and this could be done leather hard, or I don't want to do that. I want to do this. It could be done leather hard or
oh, you're going straight on there.
Yeah. So this is another way you can do it. You can do it leather hard, or you can do it on bisque, which is what this is. And I'm going to use my green. I'm not going to use my rib, although you can. I'm going to use my finger and I'm just going to rub it on here. Rub it into all of the little crevices into your screen. And just straight onto the bisque. You can also do this straight onto leather hard. I think I've said that, but I'm going to repeat myself. And the other beautiful thing about it is if you hate it, you can wash it off.
Yay, clay.
Yeah. So I also at home, I have used when I have large pieces, because my rib isn't quite as flexible as I want it to be for forms like this. I do have a very soft spatula, just like a kitchen spatula that has been reduced to the clay room. So I have used one of those when I have larger areas. And let's see. So I'm gonna just peel it off. Oh, see, I smudged it over there. I loaded it up way too much.
That's amazing, though. The finger is I've never had success doing direct onto.
It can work.
That's
great.
great.
And it's like all of it. You got to practice with
Yeah.
it. You got to see which technique works for you.
I've never thought of
put
just
too
using
much
my
over
finger,
here and
though.
didn't hold it in place well enough. Yeah.
Still nice.
But I can wipe it off if I want to. Otherwise, I can just clear glaze on top of it and send it on through.
Awesome.
So let's see. I'm gonna look at my list and see how much.
Is this guy dry yet?
Yeah, it's probably dry enough. 7:40. So woo.
Yeah, I know. The time goes quicker than you think.
Yeah,
right?
we're a little more time than I thought I was gonna need. But let me see what I missed, and let me do that bisque mug. So okay, Maiolica, right? Maiolica.
I can never say it right. So
I cannot. I am
not
an expert on that. We do have one in the Clay Guild that is an expert on that. That is not me. I thought Huey was really.
Huey taught us a faux Maiolica.
Okay.
However you say
well, maybe
it.
I'm doing a faux Maiolica.
If you're about to apply underglaze over glaze, then yes, you are, and it works
there you go.
so well. But I've never thought of doing it with. This is awesome. Yeah.
So this works splendidly.
Nice.
Let's do this bug. I love this bug.
It's a cute bug.
Where's my scissors?
So if you are looking for a white glaze that works well for this technique, like Maggie was saying, you just want a really, really stable, because you're putting underglaze over glaze. So you want to make sure that's not a glaze that's going to run and destroy your image. If you are a member or someone who uses the Kansas City Clay Guild, our very white, we have, I think, 3 studio whites. We have G white, very white,
and there's another
glossy white.
Glossy white.
You want very white. It is incredibly stable.
That goes to cone 10.
That goes to cone 10.
This one doesn't go to cone. Well,
and I don't have a suggestion
I don't know if this one does go to cone 10.
Okay. I don't have a suggestion for a stable cone 5-6, but I know that if you're firing to cone 10 at the Kansas City Clay Guild studio, of our studio glazes, very white works beautifully for doing this faux Maiolica, whatever.
And and with anything, if you don't have one that's recommended, you're going to have to test it anyways. Even when you do have one that's recommended, you're going to have to test it.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind when you're deciding. So I'm going to put this cutesy little bug, I'm going to put over here. And I'm just going to.
You need a cleaner one?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
All right.
I'm just going to dab it. Get a little extra wet. And and this is all, I've just done this stuff from playing. Like I'm just do it, experiment, play. There's no harm in playing with it. The worst that happens is you have a mug that isn't the way you wanted it to be, but you know what? Or a cup or a bowl or whatever. I can drink coffee out of an ugly mug just the same as I can drink coffee out of the most perfect mug ever.
Yep.
So I keep all my uglies. So yeah, that's the tissue paper. I just transferred it onto here, and got it wet and let it sit for a second. And now I'm just going to peel it off. And when I fire it, that should stay
And
fairly well.
And it will take on the glossy, if you're
Uh-huh.
putting it over a glossy glaze, it will take on the glossy
Mhm.
elements from
Mhm.
that.
So it's this one will spread just a little bit. This glaze, this white glaze does spread just a little bit, but I've tested it and I like the way it looks.
Yeah.
So if you have something that's like lots of details, test it to see how much detail you're going to lose on whatever glaze you're using. So
and again, if you want to get good products that I can recommend for this technique at Kansas City Clay Guild are the Very White, and I've always used the Amico Velvet underglazes, every single color, including yellows, pinks, even at Cone 10. It turns up because it's, I don't know why, I don't know what the chemistry is.
They use encapsulated stains, I think.
Well, the Amico pinks and maroons burn out under a clear glaze.
Oh, okay.
But when I put them over a white glaze, and the yellow is a lot too, when I put them over a white glaze, the color distorts a little. It's not going to be the same as what you see on the Amico chart, but it's still there. It doesn't burn out.
It probably has to do something to do with the amount of calcium and stuff.
It's something in the chemistry. I don't know what it is, but it works great. So
there's that. Let me see what else I'm missing here. Jelly to leather hard, jelly to on a mug. I can do an inside of a bowl. It's the same concept when you do inside of a bowl. You can print your stuff on this and then flip it over and put it right in the bottom. And it works just the same as on the outside. Let's see. Directly onto.
You did that.
I did that. You could do that on leather hard, bisque. Let's see. Yeah. So that's that's about it.
Okay. Awesome. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and you can send them to me, workshops@kcclayguild.org, and I can get those onto Maggie. Otherwise, leave a comment on the YouTube video.
I'll watch
we can
and
get
comment.
them. Yep. We can have her monitor that and make sure we get answers to you. Other than that, keep an eye on the KC Clay Guild website for any events. We do have our holiday sale coming up. We are also in the middle of our KC Clay Build campaign. We are desperately in need of a new building. So support a local arts organization that does a lot of free and low-cost programming for underfunded schools, for organizations, all sorts of organizations that need our services. And you can read more about it on our website. I won't go into too much depth, but the organization does a lot of really great things. And if you feel like supporting us this holiday season or anytime, we would be very appreciative. And again, thank you so much, Maggie. This was really great.
I had a ton of fun.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Did we keep it in time?
It's over.